Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Welcome to the highly awaited Chelsea versus Burnley preview. This is the game where we finally have at least a little bit of time under Thomas Tuchel now. A few training sessions, the feedback from the Wolves game. Hopefully now we might have something clicking, or at least the first few signs appearing of what Thomas Tuchel wants to do with these players. So it's going to be very interesting. We're going to get in depth about the detail required and what I think the starting 11 is going to be. But before I do, I'm going to ask you guys, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Let's get into it. Chelsea versus Burnley. This is going to be tough because I remember before we lost to Leicester, I was looking at these games and I thought I saw Leicester, I saw Wolves, I saw Burnley, and I thought, oh, flipping hell, this is gonna be tough. You know, Leicester, that's gonna be a very hard game. But Wolves, they've beaten us already. Burnley, Sean Dyche, park the bus, Brexit football, 4-4-2, come on lads, kind of football. And you're thinking, oh my god, we're not playing well. We don't have what it takes. But since the Wolves game and the resurgence of some of these players and some of the information that we know Tuchel's passed on to them and the new system and three at the back, wing backs with Hudson-Odoi being one of them, and the whole landscape has been shifted at Chelsea Football Club. Nothing is the same anymore, right? So that means we don't really know what to expect. But when you look at the way we played against Wolves, there were very, very impressive elements there. And there was already good signs from one training session under Thomas Tuchel. And then going into that match, Tuchel was impressed with some of the football that we played. Some of the clear tactics that he had imposed on the team, which it seems like they responded really well to. And now after a few training sessions, hopefully we get to see even more progress against Burnley, and I'm sure Burnley are going to be fully aware of the circumstances that's coming against them. So if we're talking about training sessions, I want to pinpoint something here just to really outline the detail that Thomas Tuchel goes to. And he's pulled out one of the oldest tricks in the book. And I saw the picture yesterday after I uploaded my video that I'd done yesterday. And I saw, oh, damn it, I've got to talk about this tomorrow because there's no way I'm missing this. But check these out. So you're looking at pictures of the lads playing and training with small footballs. Small balls, yes, those size 2s, those size 3 balls, you know. And that's fantastic to see. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. When you are an aspiring footballer and you are going up the ranks, even at grassroots, even as young players, as kids, you get them to train with really small balls. Why? Why do you get people to train with small balls? You do it because if you can master control, your passing, your accuracy, your precision with a small ball, a big size 5 ball will feel like a piece of cake. It will be the easiest thing in the world. If you can master a small ball, if you can move that small ball quickly, control perfectly with a small ball, a big ball will be the easiest thing in the world. Easiest, it's the oldest trick in the book, and Thomas Tuchel pulled it out for the lads in training. He got all of them to train with small balls, and that is an immediate impact, and you can tell he's already outlined some of the issues that we have in this team. One of them being not being able to move the ball quick enough, not controlling as well as we should. Some of the lads do like that. If we're looking at the first touch, you look at a Timo Werner, for example, his first touch has been poor. You're looking at Tammy at times, his first touch has been poor. You're looking at a Kai Havertz where he looks heavy on the ball. Many things like that. And that one impact is going to definitely sort that problem out. So you look at Thomas Tuchel and you look at some of the footage that we have seen from the training sessions. It's on the Chelsea YouTube page. You can check out their videos. I'll put a link right here for you guys to check out, and Chelsea can thank me later for sending them a little bit of traffic at least. It's been really positive, really positive. You can tell that Tuchel has had an immediate impact on these players, and he's got a plan. You can tell that he's just sending instruction after instruction after instruction after instruction, getting players to just work super hard under his guidance, and it's looking like it's going really well and the lads are enjoying it. There's loads of smiles, there's loads of positivity. It's good to see. Hopefully that carries out. But the one dilemma that we have going into this Chelsea versus Burnley game is we have no idea what the starting 11 is going to be again. Against Wolves, he went to a back 3. No one in the world expected that. We went with a Hudson-Odoi right wing back. No one in the world expected that. Now we're playing against Burnley. And there were some lads that were missing because Tuchel fell on experience. And he knew he had to do that for two reasons. One, your experienced lads are guys that you can rely on in a certain situation where you're new, you don't really know what to expect, you don't know if it's good to throw the young lads into that situation, it could come back to backfire. You know what? Play the experienced boys. But the second point, those experienced lads that we saw play against Wolves, they weren't really playing under Frank Lampard. And it is a way, if you look at it, to get them back on side and to get them to trust you and to get the squad harmony to finally be at a level where it needs to be. Because under Lampard, you could tell some of the fringe players were very unhappy. It's Tuchel's way, as well as I've said, having to rely on that experience to get you through the first game, which is understandable, but it's a way to get them on side immediately. So that's very smart from Thomas Tuchel. But for this game against Burnley, are we going to do the same thing? Because we did bring on a few lads and there was a bit of an impact. Now, if you're asking what the 11 is going to be, I do think we're going to stick with the same formation. I don't see that changing. Why? Because Wolves are a team that sat back, heavily relied on the counter-attack, but didn't even have that many counterattacks. You know, it wasn't a case of them being patient to an extent, but also trying to come at us. They were happy to take the 0-0. They were happy to sit back and do nothing all night. All night, no problem. But there were opportunities that we left ourselves exploited, and they did take them. Mendy being one of them where he almost cost us a goal. But luckily, it didn't go in and it got made amends. Now, against Burnley, Sean Dyche, we know they're a team that are very physical. They like to sit back. They like to play that traditional 4-4-2, low block, close the lines, no one's getting past kind of football. But, as we've seen against Liverpool, where they beat Liverpool at Anfield, as we've seen against Aston Villa, where they beat Aston Villa 3-2 and got 3 past Aston Villa, they can be a team that can hurt you on the counter and will be relying on that counter-attack to not even just try and draw the game, but to try and nick a win. Do it the ugly way. That is how Burnley function. So we need to be careful. But because Burnley play with a low block, I do think we will be setting up very similarly to how we played against Wolves. So if we are going to go into the starting 11, this is what I think we're going to do. So as I've said, a back three. I think the formation is going to be a 3-4-2-1. Similarly to how we did against Wolves, but I think a bit of the personnel is going to change. So let's get into it. Edouard Mendy in goal. I think obviously that is a no-brainer. If we're looking at the back three, I think there's going to be a couple of changes. And this would be my preferred 11, by the way. I'm not saying this is definitely what Tuchel's going to do or what I think Tuchel is going to do. I do think this is what I would do, and this is what it would be if it was my decision. I reckon Reece James at right centre back. Better than Aspie in the context of he has the pace and he has the physicality to even just sit there as a centre-back but can go forward if needed. If we're playing with a high line and we need someone to assist on that right-hand side, Reece James has the energy and the physicality to go forward, assist and get back in time to be that centre-back. So that's a good thing. Alongside him, I reckon at centre-back, so centre-back, Thiago Silva. He is the man that I think is going to be the anchor in defence, the guy to sit back, the general to oversee everything happening in front, but the man to coordinate his back line and to coordinate the defence and to make sure that everyone's getting back in time. So Capo, I think, for the night, Thiago Silva with the armband at centre-back. Alongside him, I would go with Kurt Zouma. I think we need to see a reintroduction of Kurt Zouma, and similarly like Reece James, Kurt Zouma is quick, he's fast, he has the energy and he can run, and he's a tank. You know, I would rely on him more than I would rely on Rudiger. So for me, Zouma starts at centre-back as well, left centre-back. Now, in our midfield four, two of them being wing-backs, let's have it right. So the wing-backs I would put as offensive wing-backs. Against Wolves, we had Chilwell and we had Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi being the offensive wing-back. So the man that is a wing-back, but even though has to come back to defend, because that is the role, but is heavily relied on being that winger as well. And Chilwell, that really wasn't the case. He is more of a defensive player. He's a defender. So I think with this, we could see the introduction of two offensive wing-backs. And I think we're going to see Hudson-Odoi on that right-hand side because he done really well against Wolves. And I think he's going to be a pivotal player under Thomas Tuchel. And on the left, it's, well, some could say Tuchel's son. But the man that he has worked with, the man that I know can rely on and didn't choose to play against Wolves because he knows him really well, if that kind of makes sense, Christian Pulisic. Now, some of you are probably going to look at that and go, oh, you're going to play both of them as wing-backs, so both of them have to come back and defend? Well, they can. Hudson-Odoi proved he could. I know Christian Pulisic can. And if there's one man that can get the best out of Christian Pulisic, it's Thomas Tuchel, as he done at Dortmund. So I reckon this would be good, especially against a low block Burnley that are going to sit back, where, you know, it would be good just having offensive players, even if they have to come back and defend. But we are going to be on the attack. We are going to control the game. We are going to be dominating for a big portion of the game. So why not have 2 offensive wing-backs? It, for me, makes sense. Now, in the midfield, as the pivot, the 2 sixes, yeah? And this is where it gets interesting, because Kante is fit. It seems like he's fit. He's been training. Now, I don't know if he makes it for the game and he's 100%. Fingers crossed he is. But if he is, for me, he starts. And we know how excited Thomas Tuchel is to play with N'Golo Kante, how excited he is to have Kante at his disposal because he wanted him at PSG and now he gets to manage him. For me, I think he has a clear plan for N'Golo Kante in his head already and has had it for the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see N'Golo Kante under Thomas Tuchel, but alongside him, personally, I would play Mateo Kovacic. I thought he played fantastic against Wolves. I would love to see the same display, and this time alongside N'Golo Kante, but this time under the guidance of Thomas Tuchel. As I've said, I think he has a plan for the pivot. I think he's got it set in stone. So let him ride with it, and hopefully those two can do really well. Now, some of you are going to say, but Mason Mount, you're not playing Mason Mount? I would play Mason Mount next to Kante. I wouldn't. You want to know why? Because I would play him in the 2. Now, Mason Mount introduced in the 2. He came on for Hakim Ziyech, if I'm not mistaken, against Wolves. And he didn't play in the pivot, or he didn't play as a 6. He played as one of the midfielders in front. And look how well he done. You know, and he unlocked a bit to his game that I didn't really recognise he had in him. We know Mason Mount as a traditional number 8, a box-to-box midfielder, which means box-to-box. It doesn't mean getting into the box and getting involved as much, but it means sitting on the edge of the D, being that traditional number 8. And we all had it set in stone that Mason Mount would be that kind of player. But look how well he played, even if it was for a short portion against Wolves, getting involved, getting in between players and getting in between those lines. I think he can contribute really well against a low block Burnley team and do the similar thing, where it means getting into the box, causing more traffic, getting more men into that box and allowing some space for our centre forward or centre forwards, whoever's going to be in the box, hopefully alleviate some pressure from them. Because if you're playing against a low block, you need to try and somehow find space for your forward men. And that means alleviating pressure. Mason Mount has the energy. Mason Mount, I think, under Tuchel is going to take his game to another level. I'm really looking forward to it. So for me, as one of the 2 attacking midfielders, you could say one of the 2 number 8s in front of the 6s, I would call him. It would be Mason Mount, and alongside Mason Mount, Kai Havertz. Now, Kai Havertz for me would be in his element here. As he was against Wolves, he was the man that ran the most for the entire evening. He ran 11.5 kilometres, and that was really, really good to see. But he looked comfortable. Even on the ball, he looked quicker. He looked just relaxed, and I think that is because he's in his position. He doesn't have to defend as much, and if you're having 2 6s and you're having 2 midfielders in front, they don't need to come back and pretend that they're 6s as well. So it means they can stay up the pitch a little bit more, and if we're playing against a low block, it means we got to get bodies in between those lines. So for me, Kai Havertz alongside Mason Mount, the 2 men that I think can do a really good job just staying up there and not really worrying about coming back to defend so much. Now, the man up top, let's put it to Timo Werner. And I'm doing this just because, despite having the worry that against a low block, Timo Werner might not thrive because he likes to get in behind defenders. And against a Burnley, there's going to be nothing to run in behind too. Let's have it right. You know, their central defenders are probably going to be right next to the goalposts. That's how deep Burnley are going to play. So Timo Werner, I just want to see what he will do under Tuchel in that situation. If there is a manager that I think could get the best out of him, it could be Thomas Tuchel. Let's see what he can do, especially if he has 2 men directly behind him that can help to supply, wing-backs that can come and hopefully attack and assist, as well as the 2 6s that can offer the protection. Maybe it will help alleviate some of that pressure from Timo Werner. But we'll see. If he can get on the score sheet, fantastic. Now, the other variation to this would be to play 2 strikers up top. So instead of having a 2-1, to have a 1-2. So the 1 would more than likely be Kai Havertz or Mason Mount, but I think Kai Havertz. And then the 2 would be Timo Werner with a Tammy Abraham, for example. And that would help Timo Werner because Timo Werner functions as a left forward in his peak. So his number 1 position would be a left forward. That would mean having to play alongside another striker. So that could be Tammy Abraham. But that would mean sacrificing Mason Mount, you know? And that would mean, hey, does Mason Mount play alongside Kante in that case? there's many variations we could go to. But for me, a 3-4-2-1, I think similarly to how we done against Wolves, will be the formation that Tuchel goes to, but don't hold me to it. For what I know, we could go with something completely different. You got to give Tuchel time to find his stable 11. I don't think it's going to be a stable 11, but to find his stable system, his stable formations, because I think we're going to be changing formations a lot. There's going to be loads of tactics based on the opposition, and this is going to be no different from the Wolves game. So you can base my findings on what we done against Wolves, and only that. I have no idea what he's actually going to pull off. We will wait and see. Now, if you're going to ask me for a prediction, I am going to go with Chelsea 2, Burnley 0. And I'm only saying that because I think with a few training sessions now under our belt, with a few of the tricks that Tuchel has brought to training to try and help the players adjust a bit more, I think there's going to be a little bit more cohesion in terms of how Tuchel wants us to play. And I think that's going to help us, especially on a tactical level, because he knows we're playing against Burnley. And I'm sure he studied them very well. A lot longer than he's managed to study Wolves. Let's have it right. So he's had more time. I think that's going to reflect on the players. I think the players having more training sessions under him is going to help as well. So I am confident that we can take Wolves as a base in terms of performance and put it up to the next gear. And hopefully that will be enough for us to get that first goal, open up the game a bit, and then get a second and kill it off. Fingers crossed that's how it goes. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you think the lineups are going to be, what you think Tuchel's going to do, and your score predictions. Let me know. I would love to hear it. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Be sure to remember, tomorrow is an early kickoff. So it's midday here in the UK, kicking off against Burnley. I will be doing a watch along as always. So be sure to be tuning to the watch along. And then after that, I will upload my match review as I always do every match day. So I will see you tomorrow on the watch along. Have a good one. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.